Alright, so to do this project, I'm taking the advice of the video I linked in the description. The gentleman there said, recommended to use this Valco Cincinnati. That's the part number. I think it's a 2-inch version. There's a 2.5 and a 2-inch version. Just a nice tool to help apply the RTV a lot nicer and more consistently. Picked it up on Amazon for around $25. Of course, we got our tube of Permatex Ultra Black silicone RTV, and this is the 2-inch version, as I said, of the Valco. And all you do is to slide the crimped end of the RTV through here, and it kind of, crimped end kind of stays captive inside of there, and then this won't come out unless you try to pull this top up. So it's pretty secure in there right now. I'm gonna do like a test bead on the paper or something just to see how it flows, but a nice little tool that'll help you with any kind of RTV cartridge or tube you can put in here. Alright, so here is the part number for the pickup tube gasket from Mazda, and then the 2 half-moon seals for the oil pan. So we got all this cleaned, isopropyl alcohol on all the surfaces. Gonna go ahead and start going through the process to put this on. For the half-moon seals, one is about twice the thickness of the other, and that coincides with the thickness spacing on the places you're going to put them, so it's very difficult to mix these two up. So one thing that's interesting is it looks like they got a bunch of specks all over them from packaging, but it doesn't appear to be coming off, so it's not just like pure black. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Let me know in the comments if yours look the same or not, but it doesn't seem to be wiping off. It seems to be part of the molded rubber. Starting out with a main bearing support plate. Manual calls out, you start off with this, apply sealant as shown in the image here, and then there's a certain torque sequence to tighten the main bearing support plate down once you set it on the block. Torque spec for that is 12 to 15 inch-pounds, so I'm going to go with 14, which is 168 inch-pounds. 1/4-inch drive ratchet for that, set at 168. But to start out here, I'm going to pick up the support plate. I'll start doing some silicone in here in my lap, as opposed to doing it on the block they recommend. So oh, that hole over there fooled me. Got to go to this outside one. I screwed up there at the end. Make sure you're not pushing the silicone. Make sure you're trailing with it. At the end of these tabs pretty good. Now, I won't screw up this side. I'm going to hold it like this in my lap now. Not the best job in the world, but I think it'll get it done. Go ahead and spin this so I can get that end really good here. Alright, so now to set it down on the block, just line up the holes. Alright, now once you got that sitting on there, you can go ahead and grab your main bearing support plate bolts. So this right here is the torque sequence for the main bearing support plate bolts. Easy to remember. You start up here, you do a U in the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start on the far side near the rear main seal, upper towards the exhaust manifold, and then do a giant U, 1, 2, 3, 4, around the outside like that. What I'm going to do is do a little bit of a progressive torque. I'm going to start at 80 inch-pounds. And then finish at 168. Alright, here we go, the final torque up to 168. I did not put any Loctite on these. I don't know if I should have, but they didn't have any on them when I pulled them out. So, and there's so much oil in the threads in there that putting a dab of Loctite on this would not have done anything, because Loctite really only works on dry threads. So I'm not going to worry about it. It doesn't really say to in the factory service manual anyway. Okay, now that your main bearing support plate is torqued down, go ahead and line up your new gasket for the pickup tube. Line it up just like that. Go ahead and start threading these in my hand. Again, I've seen people use Loctite on these online. I'm not going to. Threads have quite a bit of oil on them inside the block. And there's a lot of thread engagement, so we'll just torque down to the proper value. I don't see there being a concern there by any means. Alright, so the torque spec for this, for the pickup tube bolts and the nut, is 69 to 95 inch-pounds. I'm going to go with 85 inch-pounds and split it in the middle. So it's very important, make sure you torque down the oil pickup part on the gasket first, then to worry about the nut way after. That way you're not binding up anything when you go to torque this down. So I'm going to go back and forth a little bit. Feel that gasket compressing. Alright, so we've got main bearing support plate torqued down. We've got our oil pickup tube torqued down. Let's get out sealant again. And what we're going to want to do is connect the dots. So you want to come from main bearing support plate, a little point that stuck out that you had silicone on, connect the dots through the center over to the other side on both the bottom sides of where the seal is going to go. Once you got one side done, grab your seal, make sure it's the skinny one for the rear main seal side. Make sure your tab is facing the tab notch in the block. Align the top first there. And walk it down. Alright, the crank side's done. Got your front crank seal here. Half moon seal. Line that guy up to the center. Push it down all the way. It's going to squeeze some RTV out, which is great, because it means we've got enough to do the job. Alright, so next I'm going to apply some silicone onto the outside of the seal. I'm going to be a little bit generous here. Alright, so here is a look at the oil pan. Didn't film it, but you get the idea by now. Got everything snug on by hand. I'm going to go around with a 1/4 inch ratchet and just go very lightly on these to get them started. There is no torque sequence in the user's manual for this, so I'm just going to keep going around in a circular pattern. Alright guys, so we got the oil pan all torqued down. What I did is snugged them up, let it sit for about 40 minutes, and then went and did my final torque. I did 40 inch-pounds all the way around, then 60, then 85 in a sequence. Kind of went back and forth a little bit, then circled around, making sure the back bolts are tight as well. But coming together here. Report back if there are any leaks, but I didn't see a ton of RTV squished to the outside. As you can see here, that's the most of it. So I didn't want to go too crazy on the RTV because I didn't want any to go on the inside that much and have problems later on with the oil pickup picking up RTV. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.